shut down?
Right now, we're 50% down from last year.
Really? I'm doing the best that I can with the best that I have.
That particular pivot, I discovered that I had to be creative.
And really just evaluate, who you are.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pivotal Moments with Liletta. I am really excited about today's episode. We are actually kicking off November, which is Diabetes Awareness Month. And I have a very special guest that's going to talk about obviously pivoting, but we're going to also talk about just the importance of being aware about diabetes and the collaboration that we're doing. So I am excited to get right on into today's conversation. I have Nik with me from Amani Nicol, and I'm going to just toss it to her to really talk about what she's doing. So Nik, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be on. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes. So tell a little bit, I gave a very brief introduction, but tell us a little bit about Amani Nicol Wellness.
Okay. Well, Amani Nicol Wellness, we are a wellness spa for women. And our program is really just designed to provide services that help women increase their energy and their confidence. So we have both an in-person wellness spa with a variety of services from sauna therapy, lipo-sculpting, to our virtual presence, which incorporates our CDC-recognized diabetes prevention program, also known as the Beautifully Well Lifestyle Change Program.
That is awesome, sis. Wow. I mean, it's so needed and so important. So kudos to what you're doing for the community, for us. I mean, this is great. So let's just get into the conversation. So we are talking about pivoting. Most people can think of probably hundreds of times in life when they've had to pivot, but what would you like to share today about when you had to make a pivot?
I love this question. And it actually made me think because, especially from a business perspective, we're always thinking about how we pivot or how we evolve.
Yes.
But I really got to thinking, wow, last year, 2019, I thought was something else because that was the year. Not only was I working for what I thought was a good opportunity, a good company, heavy into health and fitness, and I actually ended up being diagnosed with colon cancer, completely shocked. But fortunately, because I had a nice foundation of health, and of course, who cannot face that I was able to overcome it. But at a time where I was employed with a company that just decided not too long after my initial surgery that I was no longer needed. And that was a pivoting point in Nik's life, so instead of course, feeling bitter, being discouraged, of course, I was upset, but it made me look in the mirror. And so the question I had to ask myself as an entrepreneur for well over a decade is, okay, so what are you going to do? And so that pivotal time, Lita, really just gave me a chance to go back and focus again on my business and why I went into business and why now had to be the sign that I had been looking for to really focus on what I could do from an entrepreneurial standpoint.
Wow. Well, first of all, congratulations for overcoming such a huge challenge. Wow, that's very, we're glad to hear that you got through that. Definitely. Wow. So, you mentioned briefly about the why. And so when we talk about pivoting, and we talk about that pivotal moment, there's that thing, that center thing that's unchangeable, that we make the shifts around that. So, and usually we kind of figure that out after the fact. We figure out, well, this was the thing that's important that I had to make the changes around. So for you, what did you discover in making this pivot that is unchangeable, that's important to you, that everything else kind of, has to go around that?
Oh, one word would be consistency. Because to reach success, you have to have consistent effort. And, you know, as a health coach, it's all about behavior change, you know, and what makes behavior change work, of course, are the habits that you have and those positive habits, or the process of doing something over and over and over and over again to reach where you want to be. So it's definitely consistency about the efforts and the approach, to not giving up, to just staying on task.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, switching gears a little bit. So, we always talk about adjustment. So, of course, we make tons of adjustments in life, and an adjustment is a slightly different tone than pivoting, because adjustment is really about adapting to something that usually may or may not be quite comfortable for us. So, can you talk about a time when you had to make an adjustment rather than a pivot?
Mm. Can you spell pandemic?
Exactly.
Yes. This pandemic,
Exactly.
you talk about adapting. Oh my goodness. Well, we know what happened in small business world in terms of the SBA, paycheck protection, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, the reality was that there's so many small businesses who make a difference in a community, and yet there's a deficit when it comes to resources and access to capital. Well, when I think about Amani Nicol's adjustment at that time, we had a full service wellness spa that had to close its doors. Um, but in the midst of all that fluff, our focus has always been the health and well-being of the women we serve. And so for me, the adjustment had to come in with, okay, Nik, those doors are closed, but guess what? We can't quarantine our health. We have to still find a way to support our clients. And so virtual, going into this virtual space, trying to, you know, not that I'm not tech savvy, but at the end of the day, that's a huge decision to make, especially when it comes to evaluating a platform, and developing a whole new program and approach, and being okay with that. Yeah. So to wrap that up, making that adjustment proved to be to our advantage, because it also gave us opportunity to incorporate that diabetes prevention program. So adapting, still in the flow of adapting, but well worth taking those steps.
Wow, that is so awesome. I mean, it's just like you said, I've had quite a few business owners, you know, sit down and have this conversation with me. And you're right. I mean, to hear, you know, like you said, you hear like all this resources is available for businesses, but the majority of the really small businesses have not been able to benefit from said resources. So it's definitely, you know, encouraging to hear how you made that pivot, that adjustment, and you're rocking and rolling with it. That's awesome. So now I always have people, my guests, leave, you know, something special with our viewers. So what do you want to say directly to those who are watching this right now?
Oh wow, okay. So and do it in a Reader's Digest fashion. So twofold. On the health side, it is Diabetes Awareness Month. Diabetes is oh my gosh, it's affecting so many of us. So first I would say, if you have been diagnosed with diabetes or think you might be at risk, please trust and believe that Amani Nicol Wellness is here for you. We have the resources to help you get to where you need to be in terms of managing your health. On a second note, real quick, I would just encourage all business owners to keep pushing. Let's stay consistent. Let's go back to our why. Let's get excited, because although some of those resources initially may not have been available to us, there's a plethora of resources that are, a ton of them. So I'm thankful to the collaboration with you as well, Lita, because it's proof that how we'll continue to get through this and have some sustainability within our businesses is going to be opening up to these resources and being willing to collaborate.
Oh, that is so awesome. And that's what I wanted to kind of close out with too. Like, seeing the different presentations that you have done and seeing all that your business is doing and what you're doing for the community. Diabetes affects my family very personally. So I'm definitely super excited to just be a part of collaborating with you, being an ambassador for what you're doing, and just anything that I could do. Yes. My Keep the Box side business, we're collaborating there. So I am just very excited about us connecting and looking forward to just really pop in this month of November. Let's knock it out the park. And let's help do, like you said, what we signed up for, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, awesome. Well, guys, you've been watching another Pivotal Moments with Liletta. Definitely stay tuned for more things with Nik and I this month. We're going to be doing some different things. We may get a live in here there, even though neither one of us really cares for the lives. But we're going to try to do a live for you guys, and just stay tuned for the different things that are coming across these platforms, because it is really an important cause and purpose. So we'll be doing more. And definitely, of course, you see the website there. So make sure you're following Nik and all the amazing things that she's doing for the community. And as always, thank you for supporting Pivotal Moments with Liletta. I'm so glad you tuned in, and tune in next time for another episode of Pivotal Moments with Liletta.